1.
Tonight on CTV, local representatives discuss the effect of the election on the LGBTQ community.
Then we explore the 2018 Subsurface Water Storage Symposium.
And later, we recap the CSU Graduate Student Showcase.
All this and more starting right now on CTV.
Good evening, Rams, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Edgar Studio. Tonight we bring you updates on the lawsuit involving the homeless locker program in Old Town. The Fort Collins Mennonite Fellowship filed the lawsuit on November 6th against the city of allegations of discriminatory practices towards its homeless locker program. According to the lawsuit, the city council imposed restrictions on the program that the church could not comply with, forcing them to abandon the program by November 30th. The fellowship opened 11 lockers back in September, but an appeal from the neighbors prompted city council to limit locker access between 6 in the morning and 8 in the evening. The lawsuit states that the fellowship's religious freedoms are being violated since these restrictions do not apply to other similar programs without religious ties. Due to lack of funding and resources, the church cannot provide around-the-clock surveillance of the lockers. The fellowship stated that in their complaint that it intends to terminate the program at the end of November.
An open letter released to campus on Monday implored the university to create its own plans for escape in the event of an active threat, wrote CSU Chief Police Scott Harris. He recommended students think of where they would go from their classes if a threatening situation, such as an active shooter, presented itself on campus. Harris also advised people leave their belongings behind in the event of an emergency and run to a safe place if possible, or to hide until the threat passes. However, the chief says the best way to stop an active threat is simply through prevention.
Representative Joanne Ginal of Colorado's 52nd District was in Fort Collins yesterday to talk to local members of Plymouth Congregational Church about the issues facing the LGBTQ+ community in the post-2018 election. Plymouth Congregational Church hosted Joanne Ginal to talk about the issues facing the LGBTQ community in Fort Collins in the post-2018 election.
So tonight we had invited Joanne Ginal to PFLAG. She had asked to come and speak to us about the election results and what that means for the PFLAG community, the LGBTQIA community.
Many of the topics ranged from the election of Jared Polis to what could come out of the 2019 legislative session.
Folks talking about issues that affect the gay and lesbian and transgender community and what we can do.
Issues range from how LGBT people in the community have faced hardships and discrimination.
I'd like students to get more involved on the state level because I think at the state level we can do more. We actually, well, now that we have control of both chambers, we're going to do more for students in education.
The church hopes that they will make progress to the community with the Democratic stronghold taking place in Colorado.
So in 2019, what we're hoping for is just an expansion of protections for LGBTQIA people.
Plymouth Church hopes to continue creating a welcoming community within Fort Collins and reaching out to CSU.
Oh, I like to think that we're just sort of the extended family for the CSU Pride as well. So we do a lot of work. We'll do some community work with CSU Pride.
Members hope that the coming years will be more support and equality for the community.
We can do more at the state level. In education, in healthcare, in any of the other areas that people have issue, we can do that at the state level a lot easier than we can at a federal level.
Transgender Awareness Week runs from the 12th through the 19th this month, and CSU's Pride Center will be holding a Transgender Remembrance Day this Thursday. The city of Fort Collins will also recognize the month of November as Transgender Awareness Month on Tuesday the 20th.
Hundreds of graduate students met in the Grand Ballroom earlier today to exhibit their research in the annual Graduate Student Showcase. Presentations ranged from visual art performances to posters and included students from every department. The all-day event allowed presenters to hone their communication skills and share their research with the public. There were also sessions scheduled throughout the day, dedicated to professional development. A team of more than 200 judges met to determine the top presenters and to hand out about $17,000 in prizes. In addition, the top presenters of the day have the opportunity to compete for the Vice President of Research Graduate Fellowship.
Enrollment in collegiate language classes across the nation is dropping steadily. A Modern Language Association study suggests that this decline is due to decreased student interest and lack of institutional funding. The CSU Department of Language, Literature, and Cultures offers 9 languages. Enrollment is low for languages such as Russian. The lack of funding makes it impossible for professors to offer all of the classes required for the interdisciplinary minor in the language. Despite the apparent disinterest in student language, secondary language majors increased from 2015 to 2018.
28% of Colorado residents currently live in an area affected by severe drought. With water scarcity becoming an increasingly pressing problem, professionals from all backgrounds are discussing ways to prepare for what the future might hold. The first segment of the CSU Subsurface Water Storage Symposium was held today in the Laurie Student Center North Ballroom. The symposium brought together a diverse array of professionals to discuss subsurface or underground water storage.
As a citizen of the West, hydrology issues affect you every day. That water has to come from someplace. That means that there has to be an infrastructure in place to collect the water, to store it, to distribute it. In addition to engineering, it requires a management approach, it requires policy, it requires laws and regulations for people to be able to determine how that water is going to be distributed, who gets it, and what happens to it after it's been used.
The symposium installment was an all-day event, beginning at 8:30 a.m. and ending at 6 in the evening. It involved brief presentations, group discussions, and Q&A sessions. The wide panel of speakers ranged from CSU professors to state and federal employees to local government representatives. The annual symposium aims to identify challenges, share research, and construct connections that will allow subsurface water storage to reach its greatest potential.
I believe this symposium is very important. It's an effort to try to get the best use out of our water. There's a need for storage. We see it in the Colorado Water Plan. One alternative that is generally easier to accomplish from a permitting standpoint is underground storage. But it's very difficult to achieve that in certain formations. So this symposium is important if people are to understand those difficulties and the possible solutions so that others can move forward with solutions.
Although it is often overlooked, this type of resource management is crucial for increasing water storage, managing expenses, confronting climate change, and preserving this remarkable western region we all call home. The CSU Subsurface Water Storage Symposium will hold its second and final day of programming tomorrow morning from 8 to 11:30 in the Laurie Student Center North Ballroom. All complimentary reservation slots have already been filled.
As the conversation surrounding sexual assault increases nationwide, Fort Collins is opening a safe haven for people of all ages who have experienced abuse. Child Safe has been a part of the Fort Collins community for 32 years and is dedicated to supporting child victims of sexual abuse, as well as survivors and parents of those who have been abused. The Child Safe opened their new office last weekend where they provide children with play therapy and other methods targeted at treating post-traumatic stress and panic attacks specifically. Donations and volunteer applications for the Fort Collins location can be found at childsafecolorado.com.
Did you miss out on cans around the Oval? Well, there's still an opportunity to do some charitable giving this holiday season. Student organization Eliminate Hunger Locally is organizing its first Cansgiving food drive. It encourages people to donate non-perishable food items. All donations go to Fort Collins Rescue Mission to help feed the homeless on Thanksgiving. If you would like to donate, there are drop-off locations in Clark A and C, and donations are accepted until Friday, November 16th.
That's a great way that we can all kind of take our part as the holiday giving season starts to come closer and closer, you know, as Christmas.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving food, so I'm happy to donate it and give it away.
Right. Well, if you don't eat it, I'll take some of it too. So.
Okay, yeah, you can have my turkey.
Perfect, awesome. Well, that's all we have for news tonight.
Stay tuned for weather with Allie Peters right after the break.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back, Rams. I'm your weather anchor, Allie Peters, here with your current conditions. It is a chilly 32 degrees right now in Fort Collins, though, because the sun went down about 2 hours ago and the winds are at 5 miles per hour. It does feel a little closer to 28 degrees and will feel colder as we go into the night. It was a cloudless day in Fort Collins. Today, the sun was out and melted most of the snow that was around campus, though the snow that stayed piled up was in areas where the sun did not hit as much, though it was warmer to melt a lot of it off the rooftops, but still cold enough outside that winter jackets were necessary on campus. Here's a little puppy for your Tuesday. Looking at your overnight lows for the state of Colorado, we are dropping in temperatures a lot. We have single digits at 5 down in Alamosa and 6 in Gunnison. Still pretty cold at 10 in Telluride. And looking down the I-25 corridor, we are in the 20s all the way from Fort Collins down to Pueblo, and 18 in Lyman and 20s up in the north. Tomorrow's forecast is going to be a little bit warmer than it was today at 55 degrees with a low of 31. It's going to be clear skies again with very light winds, so it will feel a lot warmer out than it actually is. And the sunset will be even earlier than it was tonight at 4:43 p.m. The state of Colorado's highs tomorrow are in the 50s in most areas down the I-25 corridor, 60s up in Sterling, 61, and it is going to be coldest down in the mountain area again, Telluride 40 and 41 over in Gunnison. Your 5-day forecast, it does warm up as we go through the week. Today was 50. It's going to be warmer at 55 tomorrow, and even a little warmer on Thursday at 57. It will feel a little bit better than it did today, but the clouds are going to roll in again. On Friday, it's going to be 56, and going into your weekend for Thanksgiving break, we can't expect snow on Saturday, so just expect that for any flights coming up. That's all I have for you. I'm your weather anchor, Allie Peters, and stay tuned for Sports with Jason.
Can't make it to the CSU volleyball game? No worries. Be in the moment for CSU volleyball games by listening in to live broadcasting from CSU's official radio station, 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins. Live broadcasts are available for streaming on kcsufm.com, the TuneIn app, and of course, 90.5 FM.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
What's up, Ram fans? Welcome back from the break. I'm your sports anchor, Jason Ortiz, and I'm here to break down all the action in the world of CSU athletics. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The CSU football team is looking to its next game versus number 13 ranked Utah State, the highest scoring team not only in the Mountain West, but one of the top scoring teams in the country. Utah State QB Jordan Love was named Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week for the 5th time this year, after beating San Jose State 62-24. Additionally, Love was named to the Davey O'Brien Award Grade 8 quarterbacks list and the College Sports Madness Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week after leading the Aggies on their senior day. This will be the best team that CSU has played all year long, and it doesn't look too promising. Utah State is still looking for some help in the top of the AP poll, and they need a big-time convincing win over CSU to keep pace and make a New Year's Six Bowl. And after looking at all these averages that they have, you can take a look at this just in from the College Football Playoff Committee. Utah State and Boise State have both been ranked accordingly. Utah State now at 23, Boise State at 25. They have a big matchup coming up in the Mountain West, and the winner of that game will go to the college football, or not college football playoff. They'll go to the Mountain West Championship game, and they will play more than likely Fresno State. Yep. So looking ahead, we have CSU Volleyball. They have 2 regular season matchups left. They are in control of their own destiny. UNLV on Thursday, they look to extend their winning streak from 11 to 13. UNLV is one of the top teams in the Mountain West. They play them on Thursday at 7 in the evening at Moby Arena. Saturday, they take on the Lobos of New Mexico, and that's going to be a good game as well. New Mexico won't go away easy. They're sitting in the middle of the pack, and they would love nothing better than to disrupt the top of the Mountain West volleyball standings. CSU women's golf had a big achievement this past weekend. Ellen Secor secured Mountain West Golfer of the Month. She led the Rams during the month of October, including earning her first collegiate win at the Ron Moore Women's Intercollegiate. On the month, Secor was sitting at 6 under 426 and a 71-stroke average. She looks to continue her hot streak when the season gets going again in the spring. You already know what time it is. Man, give me that. So, play number 3 right here, we have Logan Ryan. He says, no, not up in here. You're not bringing that ball in my house. Number 2, Nico Carvacho, the big man, throwing it down. That was a big play right before halftime, got a big win over Colorado Christian. And number 1, play of the week, Robbie Bearwick with a dime over his shoulder. Let's take a look at it one more time. Over his shoulder, no look. Kendall Moore finished the 3. Great play. And in other breaking news, we have some next level Ram news. Former CSU running back and Hall of Fame Brian Dawkins' nephew, Dalen Dawkins, has been promoted to the Titans he has been to their active roster. He was a really good electric running back here at CSU, and he's going to be electric for them. He's a good backup for Derrick Henry. Well, that's all for me, Rams. Make sure you follow the CTV Twitter page to stay up to date on CSU athletics throughout the week. But don't go anywhere. Justin has all your entertainment news up next.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back, Rams. It's me, Justin Rios, here to give you all that neat entertainment info. But tonight, we're starting with something pretty sad. Stan Lee, the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, passed away from pneumonia yesterday. Without Lee's creativity, we wouldn't have surreal superheroes like Iron Man, Thor, and Spider-Man. Sorry, Batman, but Marvel captured our attention, dreams, and hearts with Stan Lee's moving and impactful storytelling. But his expertise in crafting stories isn't limited to just comic books. Lee will live forever on as an unforgettably influential figure in pop culture and film. In TV news, the popular sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live is no stranger to controversy. Most recently, SNL comedian Pete Davidson joked about politicians running for the 2018 U.S. midterm positions. But some people didn't take his jabs at the Republican Congressman-elect Dan Crenshaw very funny. The politician and former Navy SEAL wears an eye patch, so naturally, Davidson compared his likeness to a hit man in a porno movie. Yes, that's a direct quote. After backlash for the comment, he delivered an over-the-top but sincere apology to Crenshaw, earning the new congressman a guest appearance on Weekend Update to quip about Davidson's recent breakup with Ariana Grande. You can check out all the embarrassment on YouTube along with literally millions of cat videos. It was House Stark who first coined the phrase, "winter is coming," and students are starting to feel that seasonal chill. With finals around the corner, I went out to the plaza to ask students just how they are preparing for exams and how to de-stress in time for the holidays. The Laurie Student Center typically offers late-night food options during finals week for those of you cramming for exams. But we only have 3 short weeks left of school, Rams, so if you opted out of attending your classes for the whole semester, there is no help I can give you. You've already dug your own grave, sorry. Speaking of study snacks, have you ever found hair in your food? It's literally one of the grossest things to happen. #ew. Lucky for us, the Larimer County Health Department regularly inspects restaurants around FOCO to make sure your food is safe from stray strands of hair and bugs. Here are my completely unbiased picks for this long list of restaurants. Unsurprisingly, at the top is Crazy Carl's Pizza on Elizabeth Street, sure to satisfy even the finest pie pundit. Next up, our trip is taking us to Dad's Bog Coffee on College Avenue, warming our stomachs with pumpkin-spiced goodness. But this expedition wouldn't be complete without some noodles and company. Their Loveland location fulfilled our hankering for the finest fettuccine and farfalle in the Front Range. Well, Rams, we've come to the end of another of my rants. Tune in tomorrow for Ram Life Entertainment. Same time, same channel. Stay warm and have a good night, Rams.